This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview. Welcome back to the Research Talks here on Stockbox with Alan Green, our research analyst. Alan, good to be talking to you again. I don't know what the weather is like with you, but I've got, looks like a nice sunny day, which I'm quite appreciative of at this time of year.
Well, we came down. Good morning, by the way, Mark. We came downstairs this morning. Beautiful autumnal day. My wife said it really feels like autumn today, and it does. You know, it's that cool morning, lots of dew on the ground, and just a lovely clear blue sky and not a cloud in sight. So yeah, lovely start to the day.
Good. Well, let's hope the weekend continues in the same theme. But before we get there, you're going to talk to us today about the investment case for Forum Energy Metals, which is, of course, they've got a lot of things going. One of the big things is uranium, which is certainly hot at the moment, and tertiary minerals as well. So you're starting us off with Forum?
Yes, Mark. So Forum Energy is, of course, a TSX-listed company. The EPIC code is FMC, currently trading on a market capitalization of 86 Canadian dollars, 86 million Canadian dollars, that is, which, of course, is an equivalent of about 40 million sterling over here. So the company it describes itself as an energy metals explorer seeking opportunities in copper, uranium, nickel, cobalt, and on the website in particular, it highlights the fact that it's exploring for energy metals to support the new green economy, and highlighting in particular copper, uranium, nickel, and palladium. The company has a number of projects spread over Canada, and particularly across the Athabasca Basin, which is around the Saskatchewan area, which is central Canada. And of course, as we've spoken before about Canada, everyone will know it's just a vast territory full of forests, lakes. A fairly inhospitable country, but a country that is absolutely chock full of minerals, resources, and the necessary metals that can power the new economy going forward. The company, we did speak about the company back in April this year, and I talked about the project. So I'm going to go through each project again that the company's engaged in. Firstly, to say, of course, the company has, in April, it raised $2.5 million in 3 separate private placings, all of which is being pumped into the exploration and drilling work that's currently undertaken. And in June, at the end of June, it closed off a further $3.5 million gross in 2 private placings. So it's now well funded going forward for all the activities set to take place this year. So the first project is the Janus Lake Copper Project. And if you go to the Forum Energy Metals Corporation, it's forumenergymetals.com website, you'll see numerous maps. So rather than explain the disparate geography of the region, the Janus Lake Copper Project it forms part of a joint venture option agreement with Rio Tinto. Now, in 2019, Rio spent $3.5 million in exploration there, confirming copper mineralization. The Janus Lake Copper Project is now 100% owned by Forum Energy Metals, but with the work that's been undertaken recently, Rio started drilling, of course, this year. It identified a target called the Refuse target, not refuse, Refuse. That's a refuse with an A. And Rio will have an option going forward to earn up to 80%. And that's that might sound fairly punitive to Forum Energy Metals, but Rio is funding this. Rio is doing all the work. So actually, that could be a very good deal if they do find what they believe is there. Mm-hmm. So So going forward with Janus Lake, in May, Rio announced it had intersected just under 2% copper and 9.25 grams per ton of silver. And on June the 9th, again, it identified across a 14-meter sector just under 1% copper and 8 grams per ton silver. So that's a pretty consistent reading over a larger area, which obviously bodes very well for the rest of the project. In June, of course, it started drilling. It planned out 10 holes over 2,800 meters. And the results from this drilling campaign will come back to us around October, so probably about 2 to 3 weeks away now. The company is also conducting a survey over the larger area, and that news of that will also be out with us before the end of the year. So that's a really exciting prospect. And obviously, when I think any small exploration company like this, when you get a big player like Rio involved, then they've got the resources to do the homework. So you can be pretty sure that there's something of interest and of great value there. So great progress on that front. So secondly, we come to the Love Lake copper, nickel and palladium project. This is some 60 kilometers northeast of Janus Lake. So when you look at the maps in the region, look at Saskatchewan, you get some idea of the geography. Aeromag surveys undertaken in 2020 identified the Corvette Lake and Watt Lake targets, and with permitting was provided in 2021, and in August the 10th, about just over a month ago, drilling started at Love Lake at the Corvin Lake target, with the first hole planned for 500 meters and follow-up holes. To date, 7 out of 10 holes have been drilled. The company provided an update a week or so ago, which provided some up-to-date drilling information. 7 out of 10 holes have been drilled, and the company also plans to follow up copper mineralization identified at Corvin Creek nearby. This area was first drilled in 1968 and then more latterly in 2000. So there are high hopes of identifying some decent metal grades there. Watt Lake, which is also nearby, trenches there returned decent copper, nickel, palladium, platinum, and gold readings in 2000. But the geology that was subsequently identified showed that the drilling that took place then was in the wrong direction. So the company is replanning a new campaign now. And indeed, the Peter Lake area, which is to the west of Watt Lake and Corvin Creek, which is also within the license area for foreign metals, is thought to be one of the largest ultramafic complexes in Northern America. So highly significant. But as we said before, with Canadian exploration, when we discussed other projects, of course, First Metals acquisition from Power Metals recently, that whole region is just chock full of opportunity. So we then come to the Fur Island Uranium Project, and this is a $6 million option agreement. Again, 100% owned by Forum Energy. There's a $6 million option agreement with Orano Canada to undertake drilling, and in 2021, this year, of course, two diamond drill rigs started drilling back in March, and to date, the company have said that with progress that's been made there, a uranium survey will be undertaken in December this year to set out drill targeting and plan progress for 2022. We then come to the Wollaston Uranium Project, and this is 10 kilometers south of Rabbit Lake, although in the Athabasca Basin. And again, I refer you back to a map on the website, which will show you where all these lakes are in relation to each other. The Wollaston Uranium Project is is not too far from a 140 million pounds of uranium that was found at Rabbit Lake, and of course there are throughout the region a number of uranium mines that have been highly productive in the past. So the Wollaston gravity survey will be completed. It's underway now. Will be completed now, or will be completed by it says the autumn 2021. So we'll do some updates on that one very shortly. We then have the Morris Bay uranium project, and this is a project jointly owned with Next Gen Mining, Cameo, Orano, and this with the holding for Forum Metals being just under 40%. There's a £1.5 million uranium deposit here, which was previously drilled, and the company has now pulled forward a drill program that was set for the end of 2022 to Q1 2022. It's a 3,500 meter drill program at Morris Bay, and on the basis of the work it's undertaken, Forum will increase its stake to 47%. Through the work that's been undertaken, it believes that the deposit that's currently there is larger. The geology indicates there's a larger deposit there than had initially been thought. So obviously the work that's undertaken early next year should clarify that. Other projects include the Clearwater Uranium Project, and again, that's a 75% owned project at Patterson Lake South. The Key Lake Road Project, that's a joint venture with High Rock and Costigan Lake. Drill targets were identified there last year, and again, there's no further progress to date. But as you can see from there, there's a raft of projects underway, and I think the major focus for investors, or the value inflection points, I believe, for investors going forward will, of course, be news from the Janus Lake Copper Project, but also, given uranium's focus at the moment, the fact that the company's brought Morris Bay forward is highly significant. So we should have news on that project early next year. And of course, Fur Island will have news back on that one very shortly, as we will with the Wollaston Uranium Project. So an awful lot to look forward to. Worth watching this. If you go to, in fact, the Yahoo Finance feed for Forum Energy, all of the news will be there, along with details of the stock price and the share price performance on the year, which to date it's currently trading just off year highs at 0.54 cents. Having traded as low as 0.49 cents on the year, but again, I think there's great opportunity here, and with the market cap where it is, I think it's still modestly valued. And really, the joint venture with Rio Tinto alone, if Rio Tinto find what they hope to find there, I think we could see a value re-rating very quickly indeed.
Yeah, indeed. And Rio Tinto, as you mentioned, they're very significant. That they're obviously a huge blue chip mining company. To have a partnership with them at this stage is well, it says an awful lot for that project. And uranium as well, hopefully, right place, right time. They believe there's a big deposit there, and it's just about doing the exploration that's going on at the moment to find that. So I think, Forum's at a very nice, interesting point in its development cycle. Thank you very much for presenting that for us there, Alan. That was very good. A lot to cover there in 15 minutes, but we got through it. So tertiary minerals next.
Tertiary minerals, again, tertiary minerals, just about to form there. Of course, it's got that spread of projects. So in terms of risk to investors, that spread of risk and the spread across the different projects really does minimise the risk. And again, that's something that's very much apparent with the tertiary minerals investment case too. So tertiary minerals, of course, AIM-listed company, formerly known for Fluorspar, and of course, it's now effectively exited all of its Fluorspar projects and has pivoted into a multi-commodity project exploration and development company with interests in precious metals, base metals, and base metals. Has some legacy assets too, with the Karaselka Finland Gold Project, which is currently being drilled by Orion Resources. It has a net smelter agreement there, and that alone, given where Orion are, they're undertaking drilling work in that region at the moment, and there is some overlap with the work they're doing there with the joint venture areas owned with Tertiary. So that could be worth alone up to $2 million to Tertiary if there are significant finds in the region there. But the company's now focused on a portfolio of assets in Nevada. The primary ones are the Pyramid Gold Project, which is based in Nevada, and it's all of the projects that Tertiary are undertaking are based within the Walker Lane Gold Belt, which is a prolific producer over the years for gold, for precious metals, and for base metals. It's that there are so many mines along that area, that the Walker Lane area, that you almost lose count of them. But with the Pyramid Gold Silver Project, there was great excitement earlier in the year when the company announced that it had discovered a wide silver skarn in some trenching work it was undertaking. The company's undertaking excavation in 3 trenches covering a total of 300 meters to better define what refers to as the North Ruth silver discovery. And the soil results from sampling included just under 1 gram per ton gold and 9.3 grams per ton of silver. So, a very exciting find going forward. So the North Ruth anomaly that was discovered at the Pyramid Project is being expanded on, and exploration and further sampling is taking place there to ascertain the next steps. So that's one of a number. We then come to the Paymaster polymetallic project, where samples undertaken historically showed 7.5% zinc, 4.3% lead, and 180 grams per ton of silver. So again, that's a total of 19 claims stated in the region there. There is also the Lucky Copper project, which is northeast of the copper mining town of Ely. And again, there was work undertaken early this year, and some encouraging results. But most recently, the company acquired the Brunton Pass Copper Project, which has it's undertaken soil sampling, magnetic surveys in the region, and the copper soil anomalies it's identified there have suggested the potential not only for a decent copper grades, but also for gold and silver going forward. So Patrick Cheetham, the chairman, said the systematic exploration that they'd undertaken there basically indicated that Brunton Pass was shaping up as a priority target, and of course that they will be developing that in conjunction with the Pyramid Gold Silver project. They have a raft of projects across the region, and of course, really with the resources the company currently has, they have got to prioritize those. The company has also, I wouldn't say it's been hampered, but it's probably been held back from accelerating certain projects due to the fact that the team has been run, of course, by Patrick Cheetham, the chairman of the company, who's also the chairman of Sunrise Resources. Dr. Mike Armitage, who heads up the SRK mining consultancy, is also on the board too. But they've lacked a CEO or a managing director to take it forward since Richard Clemmy moved on last year. That's now changed, of course. The company announced this week they'd appointed Patrick Cullen, the former CEO of Arkle Resources. Patrick has come in as the new MD, and certainly the early indications are that Patrick is very keen to get his feet under the table and get started. And this is exciting for a number of reasons. In addition to the work the company is undertaking in Nevada, it has also started a subsidiary company called Luangwa Minerals in Zambia. And now this, why Zambia? The company has been looking at copper opportunities around the world. Copper obviously is one of the key constituents of battery. It's one of the key battery metals going forward, and certainly given the increase in prices, there is the rush is very much on to secure and to find copper. And there are a number of reasons why this is significant. Partly because at the end of July, the end of August, Bloomberg published an article on Zambia, how Zambia had basically taken, or it had moved from effectively a defaulter on its payments to an investor darling. And this is largely down to the new president, Hakainde Hichilema, who is a former accountant who trained in the UK. But he's fast working to repair existing relationships which were damaged by the previous incumbent administration, and of course reinstate Zambia's position as one of the premier suppliers of copper throughout the world. Zambia has a huge amount of copper. There are prolific copper producers throughout the nation, and one of the things Patrick Cullen, the MD, referred to when I spoke to him earlier this week in an interview is his excitement over the opportunity here. Because of the change of the administration, there's opportunity to get in there to develop to develop projects across what's referred to as the Zambia Copper Belt. So he's very much focused on that. He's got a good deal of experience in the country and also an awful lot of contacts within the mining industry in Zambia. So I think obviously Patrick has to get his feet under the table first of all, but he's equally excited by the Nevada prospects, but I think enthused by the opportunity that and the timing of the opportunity that has arisen in Zambia. So expect to hear more from that in the coming months. In terms of the company's valuation, I'm scratching my head. I cannot understand why. I know we've spoken about mining companies really sitting, enduring a malaise over the summer, where a lot of the major players have just drifted back, and a lot of the well-known small cap mining companies have just drifted backwards. But I think we're going to see an improvement as we get into at the end of quarter three, quarter four. Obviously, the trading activity will probably increase. The case for the commodity super cycle is as strong as ever, particularly the case for battery metals. But Tertiary has traded as high as 0.6p on the year, currently at 0.27p. And it's just off a year high of 0.21p. So at 3 million, there's absolutely no premium at all for any of the assets that the company has. I mean, that's literally what I'd refer to as a keeping the lights on valuation, nothing more. There's no premium in there for any of these projects, and certainly the way Patrick spoke in the interview when we spoke earlier this week, he's enthused by the opportunity, and I think once we start to see the next few announcements from the company, both in terms of what they're finding at the projects in Nevada and also developments in Zambia, I think we're going to see a re-rating on Tertiary in fairly short order.
Okay. There's certainly a lot going on there, isn't there? And so Patrick he's recently appointed. Do you think that gives a new kind of fresh energy to the company now?
Yes, it does. I mean, and I don't think Patrick Cheetham, the chairman, would mind me saying this. I think Patrick he's running Tertiary Minerals. He's running teams of people on the ground in Nevada, and also he's got Sunrise Resources too. So he's running two companies, and Tertiary badly needs a CEO to take its projects forward and to drive the projects and report to the chairman. So bringing somebody with Patrick's experience in. I mean, Patrick spent 10 years working for major organizations like Anglo Gold and Schlumberger, and he then moved to the small cap sector and worked for a variety of companies, including, of course, Arca Resources. So he's very familiar with the territory, particularly in Zambia, but also he knows how to run a mining company and to get the best out of the people working there. And I think Tertiary has been it hasn't been under the radar, but I think the opportunities, I don't think they've been perhaps articulated by the management as well as they could have been. And when you've got the chairman of SRK Mining Consultancy on the board of the company, I think it needs a CEO to bring the story to life and to really drive things forward. And I think we're going to see that from Patrick in the coming months. Okay.
Well, let's see how it goes. As you say, in the coming months, it's always interesting when there is a bit of a change of management. It does bring sort of fresh eyes, fresh energy, and a sort of renewed focus, if you like. And there's a lot there in the portfolio. So, yeah, let's see how it plays out over the next few months.
Indeed. Well, we're set for a very exciting time. But as with Forum Energy, there are a raft of projects from which major developments could emerge at any time. And but I think with Zambia, with the change in the administration there, in the government of the administration, I think that could be the icing on the cake, and could be a real value driver in the very near term.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Alan Green, there, for giving us the investment case for Forum Energy Metals and Tertiary Minerals.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.